the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the Thrill Geek Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special bonus episode of the Thrill Geek Podcast. I'm Clint.
I'm Barry.
And Barry and I are here to talk all things Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We have been very busy these last, 5-6 days?
I'm still tired.
Yeah, I have not caught up mentally. I'm trying to get all these videos out, and now we're recording podcasts. But for those of you that have been following us on our social media, you guys saw that Disney invited us out to the Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, which is actually going to be another podcast episode that we're going to be recording here in the near future. I just didn't have the mental capacity to dive into that yet. And then after that, we got home on Sunday, and we pretty much went right over to Disney World for the Epcot / Tiana's Bayou Adventure media event. All that said, this bonus episode is going to be Barry and I's thoughts on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But first, I wanted to take a quick minute to talk about a video that I recorded during the Tiana's media event. They had a special party for us for the media outlets and pretty much everybody that was invited to this media event, not just websites and news media outlets. This was family that were invited. The whole shebang was invited to this. It was called a Sunset Soiree, and it was supposed to originally take place out in front of Big Thunder Mountain in Tiana's Bayou, but they moved it over to the Contemporary Resort in the convention center there. Long story short, Barry and I were there, having some food, having some drink, hanging out, and we were leaving to go to the drone show. They were giving us a drone show viewing at Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to make this as short as I can without stretching out the story, the setup here. And so Barry and I were leaving, and we were out in the hallways that kind of connect the convention center rooms. And all of a sudden, Prince Naveen and Princess Tiana come out, and I'm guessing they were done with their character meet and greet, and they were making a beeline for the exit. Because you know when these characters are done meeting, they make a beeline for backstage. Well, yeah. This is what Prince Naveen and Princess Tiana were doing. They were making a beeline for wherever they were going backstage to get out of the way of guests. Well, all of a sudden, they both come to a screeching halt. Barry was filming them beforehand, and I caught them up until this point when they stopped and they were talking to this sweet old lady, and I just had a feeling about me that this was somebody really important. So yeah. I pulled out my phone, started filming it, and Prince Naveen and Princess Tiana talked with her for a few minutes. They posed for a photo with her, gave her a huge hug. I posted it on our Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it at first. And I didn't know who it was. So I asked in the post, I was like, if anybody knows who this is, please let us know so we can, acknowledge the person. And because it was just a special moment.
Because we felt like it might be someone from the Chase family who, if you don't know, Leah Chase.
Yes.
It is sort of the basis or the inspiration for Princess Tiana, because she is sort of the queen of Creole cuisine, the co-founder of the Dookie Chase restaurant in New Orleans. And turns out it was.
Yeah, it was actually her sister. And thank you to everybody that replied to the post on our Twitter page saying it was this person, it was that person. Like Barry said, we got to the point where we knew it was somebody from the Chase family. And I reached out to our Disney PR person. They were investigating. And like I said, it came out to be Leah Chase's sister, Eula Lange Toka. And I'm hoping I got her name right. But we finally figured out it was her. And today, Disney shared the video on their official Disney Parks TikTok, official Disney Parks Instagram. So if you follow the Disney Parks social media accounts, you've probably seen this video. If you haven't, go watch it. I'm so glad I caught this moment on video. It is such a sweet, just in the moment. I words can't describe how beautiful this moment was.
No.
And like I posted on Twitter, all the Imagineers and everybody are saying, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is a love letter to New Orleans. It is, but it is so much more. It is all about inclusion, and just this hug that Prince Naveen, Princess Tiana, and Eula shared. Just, you could tell it wasn't your everyday character hug.
No, and I think you and I talked about this event, this is Magic preview event, media event, completely different from any of the ones we've ever been before. Like I said, the entire Chase family was there. All the artists who worked on the New Orleans artists who worked on the attraction, and musicians were there, and their families were there. The entire main cast of Princess and the Frog was there, and their families were there.
Yeah, and this whole sunset soiree thing with just everybody vibing and having a great time with the New Orleans band that they invited out. It was a really special moment.
That final night, there was 3 different New Orleans bands that played, and one of them was a street. I mean, the sunset soiree basically ended with a street party.
Yeah,
in the convention center. And
it was insane. I've never seen anything like that.
The other 2 bands were amazing, and they weren't just like local New Orleans bands. They were from New Orleans, but they're actually national recording artists. So it's like they went out and away for this event in a totally different way than we've ever experienced before. And it truly, that one moment we got to experience in the hallway with Miss Chase's sister and them. But there were so many really cool magical things that happened. Just like you said, the street party that ended the party was just crazy and wild and awesome.
Everybody was having such a great time. And so anyways, I just wanted to take a few minutes and acknowledge that video. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on our TikTok, the Thrill Geek TikTok, Instagram, and it's also on
Twitter.
It's also on the Disney parks now. They asked to use it. They would give me credit, and I said, sure, go ahead. So if you follow Disney parks, go and look for that video, because you won't regret it. There's tons of people replying like, "Why am I crying?" And it's a really sweet moment.
It was. We were in the right place in the right time. And
very much so. Yeah.
Really a magical moment.
Yeah, and my gut instinct was to pull out my phone and start recording, because it looked like something told me to start filming, and I did. And lo and behold, here we are. So again, thank you to Disney Parks for reaching out and wanting to share that on their social media channels. It really meant a lot to me for them to share it. So now for the good theme park nerdy stuff. We are going to dive into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I should say, and kind of go over our thoughts on the attraction. Barry, where would you want to start? Do you want to start kind of talking about the queue? I know there's not really anything.
I feel like you have to start with the queue, because the story starts in the queue.
Yeah.
And the story actually starts in the outdoor queue.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure has a story?
Yes. And it's a very simple story.
There's so many people confused about the story of this thing, and I don't understand how people are so confused about the story of this. So take it away, Barry.
No, the story literally does start in the outdoor queue, because you're hearing radio broadcasts in the outdoor queue. And you're also hearing music. I wish I had the fact sheet up in front of me, but there is in the queue itself, there is over, I think, 20, 30 songs you will hear throughout the queue. And like I said, it starts outside. You see the Tiana Foods truck. You'll see some different stuff out there before you get indoors, but you'll hear in the radio broadcast, and they're talking about a party tonight at Tiana and Naveen's home. And you make your way into the queue, and the queue is just I guess the queue itself is supposed to be the Tiana Foods warehouse,
headquarters. Yeah.
So you see tons of pictures up on the wall. You'll see like ribbons from contests she's won, contest she's won. You'll get to the kitchen, where there's a fresh plate of beignets, and you can smell them. You'll see a little tribute to her dad, which is a tribute to veterans in general. But this is setting up the whole story. of it's what, a year after the end of the movie. She's opened her restaurant, and now she's opened this sort of co-op. And then you basically make your way through the queue, and you're seeing hints to the story as you go through the queue of where Tiana is at this moment, and to the point that you get to like a salt mine area. You get into a salt mine area, and you basically make it through all that to get to the station. And I think, and it's like there's hints of the story as you go through the queue, and I think it really sets it up. There's so much to look at in the queue.
Yeah.
Because when you walk into the building for something, you're in the office, the Tiana Foods office. And like I said, and then throughout the queue, there's so many pictures and cut out news articles and just all kinds of things that set up the story and the world you're stepping into of 1927 New Orleans. It's and even like you said, this picture from the kitchen with the blackboard says, "Don't forget, celebration at my house tonight. Everybody's welcome. See you there."
Yeah, the story isn't plopped right there in your lap. Heaven forbid you have to pay attention on a theme park ride. I don't know what people expect with, Disney's very good at subtly setting up the story, and you actually have to pay attention and you don't have to pay attention to the whole entire queue. You can just pick up, like you were saying, little things here and there that gives you the hint that Tiana's throwing a party. It doesn't take a lot for you to figure that out by the time you get to the loading platform and you're on the log ready to head into the bayou.
No, and I mean, most Disney attractions, the story is simple. Pirates of the Caribbean, pirates raid town, steal cursed treasure. There's your story. Indiana Jones Adventure. Don't look into the eyes of Mara. Oops, you looked into the eyes of Mara.
Big Thunder Mountain, you're on a runaway railway.
Yeah, you're on a runaway railway.
In a mine train, in a mine.
Haunted Mansion, there's 999 ghosts, and they have room for one more.
There's ghosts.
There's ghosts. I mean, here's the thing I love about, and this story is simple. You're going to a party at Tiana's house, and you're following along because she's tasked Louis to find a band to perform with them at Tiana's house tonight. So you're following Louis and her to find this band, and who turns out to be like a band of critters. Spoilers, everyone, if you haven't figured this out yet. And the hijinks that ensue in the process of going down the bayou, as the song says, to have this all happen. And at some point, you end up being shrunk down to the size of a frog.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, this area is where the laughing place used to be.
Yeah, and Mama Odie decides that you should see the perspective of the critters. She brings you back to normal size as you go down, as you reach the top of the lift hill and hit the drop, and then you hit the finale, where you're, as it says, everyone's invited to this party, and you're invited, and you get to experience the party, and you get to experience the new songs, Special Spice. And this was on top of songs from the movie are throughout the attraction. And this we can get to. We've sort of talked story. Music is the heart of this attraction.
It really is.
It really is. It's you. I dare you not to ride this, and you will be humming different tunes throughout your day after getting off this, because I know I was just
going down the bayou.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get going down the bayou all out of my freaking head. No, the music is really the heart of the attraction, and which the story is about. You're trying to get together a band for a party. So music is so important. And of course, music is so important to the culture of New Orleans. I just loved the versions that they created of the songs from the movies, and then Special Spice is an earworm. It will get into your head. We can really talk about the design of this attraction, the set design, and the animatronics, because it is.
No, the music is such an important part of this ride, and I don't think there's a second in this ride where you are not hearing some song from Tiana, from Princess and the Frog, that is absolutely just you're vibing and you're just jamming out to. We have our POV up on YouTube channel, which I have here for those of you guys. Our reverse POV of it, and I went back and watched it, and there's several times where I catch myself just kind of bopping to the music. It's,
different points. Both of our heads are just sort of
bopping. Just that you just got to vibe to the sounds of New Orleans, and it's fantastic. I enjoyed just it's hard to put into words, but just the vibe of this ride is so much fun. I can't put it into words.
It's fun. It's joy and happiness. Those are the words. Yeah. Those are the feeling I got the first time we got off of it.
You're smiling, you're having a good time, and it's such a fun ride. I kind of wanted to go back to, I picked a few things for us to talk about and big things that were discussed online. And we kind of going back to the story. There were a lot of people, not including myself, but I'm a huge Facilier fan, and I would have loved to seen Facilier in a Tiana Princess and the Frog ride. But now that I have ridden Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I can see why. I mean, let's face it, Facilier is pretty much dragged down to the depths of hell at the end of the movie. So
yes, to the
unless
other
some kind of and I really don't think Disney wanted to touch the whole voodoo thing. Maybe
I don't know, but he makes no sense in this ride. People are always
he makes no sense. And like I said, now that I've ridden the ride, he would have completely. Everybody was saying, which I agree with this, Facilier with Are You Ready going up the lift hill, it's perfect. It is. I get it. I really do. It would have been the perfect setup for a Facilier moment in a Tiana's.
If this was a book report version of the movie.
If this was exactly. If this was a copy and paste retelling of the Princess and the Frog movie, it would have been perfect. This is not. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is just like Barry said, joy, happiness. It wouldn't have built up anticipation. I don't think like a lot of people were saying. I think it would have killed the mood of the ride.
And really, if it would have been a book report version of the ride, the going up the lift hill and right before you go over the drop would have had to be the part where Facilier gets dragged to the other side.
Yeah.
Because then you would literally have to do the drop, go outside, and come to the finale of the movie.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Tiana and Naveen are together and they're back to being their human form.
And happily ever after.
I love that we got an original story that picks up after the movie. I just prefer that. I think that they've done some, last one, Little Mermaid was like a book report version.
Yeah.
Over in Fantasy Springs, basically the attractions there are, the three main attractions there are book report rides. And even when you talk about the Rapunzel ride there, it's even just basically
it's like one segment of the
it's only
movie.
4.5 minutes. It's that's the other thing, because it's this attraction unfortunately gotten so many newer attractions lately that are just way too short.
One thing that I absolutely loved about this ride, and I only have a picture of one of them because I wanted to keep this podcast, at least the video version, pretty spoiler free for those that haven't ridden it yet. Let's talk about let's talk about the critters, because these actually really surprised me. I didn't know how much of a role they were going to play in the ride. But then as things start to set up, as you're going out looking for bands or members for this band that Tiana is trying to put together, there are some really cute, adorable characters that are in this ride, from the frog to the bears, just so many adorable animatronic characters. Were there any that stuck out to you?
They were all adorable. I love probably the things that actually stick out the most are the fireflies, and they're not even animatronics really.
Yeah.
They basically start out as lights you see around you, and then you will notice some of them in the background being on screens, and we'll get to the whole screen thing in a little bit. To sometimes you see them in shadow on leaves, to the point where you finally see fully animated versions of them there throughout the attraction. It's beautiful. I mean, the animatronics of the animals, they may be, more limited, of the critters may be more limited, but they are the best limited animatronics I have ever seen. There's the fluidity of movement, the fact that you're not hearing any clicking or
clickety clackety of
or
animatronics
or air sounds.
Yeah.
Because it's all electronics. We can talk about the animatronics because they are.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
of
dive into those.
Lewis, Tiana, and Mama Odie are absolutely amazing. They're amazing, and in general, it's the whole thing of the ride is, and one of the reasons for me, this feels so much like a classic Disney animatronic attraction. Is just the sheer number of animatronics, the scale of the ride. It made me feel like a kid again. It made me feel like those times when I was a kid on Haunted Mansion, on Pirates of the Caribbean, on the World of Motion, some of the Epcot, the old Epcot attractions. It's just, there is something different about an attraction full of animatronics.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the stuff in the United States we've gotten in the last like 15, 20 years. Scott
Gustin on Twitter X, he posted his thoughts today on Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, and he said very similar to what you were saying, Barry, is that this ride gives very much a classic Fantasyland dark ride vibe to it. Which
except for like a state of the art classic.
Yeah, classic.
There are no wooden flats in this attraction.
Yep.
Everything is 3-dimensional, and that's even, we can get to the screens. The use of screens in this attraction are hands down some of the best use of screens I have ever seen in an attraction that Disney has done. They are used to enhance the sets. They have a purpose. They're not just to show you a scene. Like I said earlier, you start off seeing fireflies in like the background. Those are used on screens. When you get shrunk down, Tiana and Lewis are looking at you through some leaves because they're full size. Some of the Mama Odie scenes are a screen, but it's a type of screen that Mama Odie looks 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Without 3D glasses. And then in the finale, you'll see a lot of partiers in the background, and those are screens. Those are animation on screens that almost look like there's actual animatronics back there being as part of the party.
Here's for those of you guys watching the video version, here's a picture of the finale, which let's spend a minute or two talking about this finale.
The boat goes too fast through it. That's my
It really does. And going off kind of what you were going off that, I think one issue I have with the ride is back when Splash Mountain was a thing, the animatronics were on a loop.
Yeah.
And on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the Tiana animatronics and several of the other animatronics are timed. So they're just kind of standing there.
They have a like waiting animation.
Yeah, they're just kind of sitting there. Tiana's kind of looking up and looking around. It looks good. I'm not dogging them kind of sitting there.
No,
it looks good. But I think the one thing that I do kind of miss was, or I wish on this ride was, they gave these animatronics that have these pauses, like 4 or 5 different dialogue sentences just put on a loop. So by the time your log goes by, and maybe there's a reason why they didn't do it. Maybe there's a reason. I found it awkward some parts of the ride where it was I think it was mainly the part where you start seeing the critters and you see Tiana down there at the end just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And the very first Tiana animatronic you see after you go up the lift hill and you do the U-turn in the lagoon there,
Yeah.
and you go up the lift hill, that first Tiana that's like, hey, Lewis is up there waiting for you. You're already like way past her and she's still talking.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, I guess based on some of the things we've seen, they are still working out some of the sync issues.
Yeah.
Because there was, I know some people mentioned sometimes the audio was slightly off.
Yeah.
So this is why it's a preview.
Yeah.
And they continue doing previews because they, ops has officially, the park ops has officially finally taken control of the attraction. So, but obviously the Imagineers are still there.
Yeah.
Because there's still going to be some tweaks they are going to have to do as far as
Sure.
timing.
Yeah.
As far as this, they're obviously using sensors to trigger the animatronics.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll get those little hiccups taken care of, because when Tiana talks, it's breathtaking, because it's these new animatronics, her mouth, it's not just her mouth moving, her lips are moving, her cheeks are moving, her whole face is moving when she talks like a human being, and her movements are incredible. Lewis is the same. Lewis is like one of the biggest animatronics, like full motion animatronics they've done. The biggest animatronic is the genie at Sinbad in Tokyo Disney Sea. It's just their movements are stunning. And Mama Odie, the Mama Odie at the top of the lift hill is just it's a wow moment before you go over that drop. Her animatronic, and the set design, this ride is so colorful.
Yeah.
Compared to the previous attraction that was there.
You can say Splash Mountain. It's okay.
I really, I realized so many people reviewed things based on a POV. There's no dead spots. This attraction. There's, it's all about setting up each scene, and it's like there's no like people are like, oh, there's just this dark area. It's like, no, you're in the bayou. There's vegetation everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's like, and there's
especially
fireflies everywhere.
I was going to say, especially with the fireflies, that one area that's dark, and I think they did it on purpose so you can start to see the fireflies.
Yeah. It's everything. I think that's the thing. I sort of talked. You can, the level of attention that was brought in this attraction just comes through, and you could tell the care that was taken with this attraction, and just like I said, it gives me an old school Disney feel that I don't think I ever felt like we would ever experience again.
Yeah.
In a US park, because it's we've gotten some amazing state-of-the-art attractions. Rise of the Resistance is one of the most state-of-the-art attractions in the world.
Yeah.
However, doesn't have a lot of animatronics.
Yeah.
Uses a lot of screens to great effect, but it's not, it's a visceral, it's an adventure, we've lost so many attractions, especially here at Walt Disney World over the years, that had so many animatronics in it, to be replaced by things that in most cases were a lesser experience.
Yeah.
To be honest. But this, as I said in my review, I don't like to ride water rides anymore. I'm not a kid anymore. I don't like to walk around the pet park wet. I am willing to get wet to go on this attraction again and again. I am, because I just want to see it and experience that feeling of riding this attraction. That's how much I like this attraction.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, phenomenal. Going back what you were saying, this, for those of you watching the video version, this first area, when you go up the lift hill and you head over in front of the big drop, I think Barry and I must have said, colorful, the colors. Just this ride is so vibrant and so colorful. And let's face it, like you said, the other ride wasn't very colorful.
No.
It was a half rotting mountain. And this ride is just so, when you just kind of sit back and just take it all in, It's visually.
I mean, outside of the laughing place was.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall,
I'll agree there.
they have added so much to the exterior of this mountain.
Yeah.
That it just pops, and I wish we would have had an opportunity to get a night ride. I can't wait to get a night ride because we've seen pictures.
Yeah.
Of it at night, and it's beautiful at night with all the lights.
Yeah, I've seen it at night, and it's gorgeous. The lagoon right here with all the lily pads and the cattails and all the flowers. The lighting package that they got on this attraction is amazing. So if you guys, Barry did do an article version of a review. If you guys want to check that out on thrillgeek.com, be sure to check that out. And then I think, really quick, let's spend a minute or two before we wrap it up here talking about the merchandise, because
there's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it. We actually got a tour of the Critter Co-op, which is the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure gift shop right there by the entrance of the attraction. A few of the things that I really liked, there's this statue. It's probably about maybe 1.5 feet tall of the water tower. And it's got all the characters on it, and it plays.
I want that statue.
The special Spice song, and it's got a few lights on it. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out. The cast members there were running around trying to figure out. I asked how much it was, couldn't get the price for me. But that was one thing I really liked, and the coffee can. What I forgot what Tiana calls it. But it's the jar that she's putting money in to start her own, to start her restaurant. They have that there, and they're selling it. And inside are little chocolate coins, but they haven't. Disney was really creative, and on the back they have an area where you can write your own dream that you want to save up for.
Yeah.
It's a really cute, really sentimental part of the movie because that's Tiana's dream. She wants to start her own restaurant. So as simple as a little can is, I thought that piece of merchandise was really, really cute. And we looked at the Spirit jersey, the headbands, the lounge fly, the Tiana's Bayou Adventure lounge fly. But I'm gonna let you talk about the one thing that we think is gonna sell like hotcakes, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
The fireflies. It's $32, and I believe the sign said tax included. You get basically a light up firefly in a jar that is a shoulder pal. I don't know what is that what they call them. You can put the firefly on your shoulder. It lights up. It's USB rechargeable. You can use it as a night light too, because when you have to put it back in the jar to recharge it. It comes with a charging cable too. This thing is going to fly off the freaking shelves because, needless to say, if some people saw on our social media, yes, we, most of the time when we go to media events, we do get like a bag of stuff, and this was in the bag. And needless to say, we all wanted the firefly.
Yeah, it's going to be the. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head, and I hate to use a universal reference, is going to be the Harry Potter wand of Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've never really been that interested in getting one of the like shoulder pal things. I want one of these.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know if I'm going to wear it on the shoulder, but I'm going to at least keep it at home. And same thing. I'm afraid I'm so scared of what the price on that water tower figure thing, but it's like I never thought I'd want something like that. But those of you who listen to our podcast and follow us know we are suckers for ride specific merchandise. It's probably the thing we complain about the most. This attraction has got so much ride specific merchandise, and it makes us so happy to have a new attraction, especially in like Magic Kingdom, that has so much ride specific merchandise, and so much of it is actually good.
Yeah,
it's actually very good. From everything from the adult stuff, it sometimes feels like the adults get like, there it is. The adults get like a short shrift on some of these times when it comes to merchandise. We did not get a short shrift on the merchandise this time.
Restaurant fun can. Yeah, there's
restaurant fun.
For those of you watching the video version of the podcast, it's the Restaurant Fund tin can that I was talking about. But
I don't think I ever expected that I'd actually want a bunch of Tiana Bayou's adventure merchandise, but I actually do. And I'm not just saying this because we got invited to a media event.
Yeah, the merchandise was actually really good. They have this designer collection too that was really cute. And then here's more.
Yeah, that designer collection that's more inspired by the film. There's hot sauce, there's seasonings, there's all kinds of different snacks.
This Cajun Craze Crunch we got in our goodie bag too. I'm tempted to try. I'm going to try that.
There's so many things to choose from, and I it all impressed me. All of it looked amazing. It's like I said, I want a Firefly, and we'll see how much the water
statue
tower thing is.
The water tower statue.
I'm like, I actually want. That's such a nice piece.
What do we think? $150, $200?
Well,
let's guess.
The Spaceship Earth in the new Epcot collection is like 125, I think.
Yeah,
I got minimum. This has got to be 150.
Yeah, I'm.
I think the other thing why it pops so much, I don't know for you, but it reminds me of a lot of the old Disney Store, type stuff.
True.
I mean, it's just the level, the look, the weight of it, and the level of detail really reminds me of like the old Disney Store snow globes and like figurine things that they would have. God, those were the days. But but yeah, I think that's why it clicked with me so much, is because it really reminds me of some of stuff, or the minifigs from that era too.
Yeah.
God, I kick myself for not buying some of those big figs back then.
I know. The Haunted Mansion ones, especially.
Oh God, and you know how much they're worth now.
I've seen them on eBay for thousands of dollars.
But
so
to digress, I like I said, the merchandise, they really knocked it out of the park. Which they did a really great job with Tron. I feel like the only time the last recent one we sort of complained about was probably Guardians of the Galaxy, because there is nothing that says Cosmic Rewind on it.
Yeah.
But I think the last two attractions, Tron and this, they've really, really created some amazing merch that we actually want. So
yeah. And we didn't mention talking about those really quick before we wrap it up here and get on out of here. Those shoulder fireflies, when kids are wearing, and adults are wearing those throughout the park, they actually start to blink. So when you come around people that are wearing them and they're turned on, obviously, they're going to start to blink. So almost like they're kind of communicating interaction with them, which is really cool. So
and I believe also the Magic Band Plus will interact with different things in
the ride. No, in the ride too. I think
queue and the ride.
I think our friend Tara, she posted a video of her Magic Band on the ride doing some like blinking stuff or something. So wow, we've been chatting for 42 minutes. I didn't think we were gonna be able to go this long, but hey,
if you haven't figured it out, we really loved Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are up in arms about this ride because of the previous ride. All I can say is just give Tiana's Bayou Adventure a shot. Just give it a shot. That's all I ask. Most likely promise you will not be disappointed. It is a phenomenal ride. Disney knocked it out of the park. And I can't wait. Like Barry said earlier, I find myself going back and riding this ride a lot because it is so much fun. So, all right.
That's what you want in a ride. Attraction.
It's just fun from start to finish. It is just so much fun. That's the easiest way I can explain this ride. And I'm sorry, I'm being very basic, but it's just a fun ride just to vibe out on and just have a great time with your significant other, your kids, by yourself, whatever. Anyways, anything else, Barry?
I think that's it.
I hope
for
so.
Now.
So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this special bonus episode. Like I said at the beginning, we are going to be recording another episode here shortly where we go over our stay on the Disney Magic, Disney's OG ship, and our preview of Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Thank you for that hat, Barry, because I'm still slowly pacing
I have
myself.
to think every time before
Look
I
out,
write or say that.
Yeah, I have to slow down and make sure I get it right. Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. So look for that episode.
Yeah.
That's going to be our regular episode that hopefully we'll get live on Tuesday. This one I'm just going to drop whenever I'm done editing it. And
and then we may have another bonus episode because we have a bunch of Universal stuff to talk about, and we wanted to leave this to just Tiana's, but we also got some Epcot stuff to talk about. So.
Yeah, we have all sorts of stuff coming up, so hopefully stay tuned. Let's get on out of here. Barry, tell everybody where they can follow you on social.
I am at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, something like that, and we are at Thrill Geek on everything.
Yeah, on everything, literally.
YouTube.com/thrillgeek. We've already posted some videos from both the cruise and Tiana's, and there's many more coming to our YouTube channel and also our TikTok and Instagram reels. So there's still plenty of more stuff.
Lots of more
way. Thrillgeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news and our review of this attraction. And we'll also we've got a review coming up. At least I'm writing a review from the perspective of a first-time Disney cruiser of Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Yes, and I am doing I'm picking and choosing some things to kind of compare and contrast because I have been to Castaway Key 5, 6, 7 times. So I'm kind of picking and choosing a few things to kind of compare and contrast. So look for that article from me as well. And anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you guys. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Be safe.
Take care. Be safe. See you in the parks.